Okay, the Director of Communications for the Desert Southwest Conference. Today is May 10th, and you are joining us for a Tuesday talk with church communicators. This is a weekly gathering on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Arizona time, where I can share information about what's going on in the conference and resources that church communicators can use to spread the news, invite people. But more importantly, I'd say this is a great place for churches to share concerns, needs, ideas. A lot of what I share often is generated because of an email question that I received or a phone call request that I received for resources or whatever. So it's a great network. It's a great gathering time. And hopefully we, get to know each other better and understand each other's needs a little better so that we can collaborate more and get ideas from each other so we can do our own jobs even better. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and get started. One of the first things that I said I was going to talk about was regarding annual conference. Registration deadline is May 26th. So the important thing for you to know as the communicator is, I've said it before, check in with your clergy and lay members to annual conference, not your church lay leader, the lay members to annual conference. Those are the delegates that were voted maybe during your church or charge conference as your church's representatives, and they have voting rights during annual conference. Annual conference is this summer in June, right around June 10th, and I'm gonna show you where you would go, how to go about finding out event information in just a little bit. But the May 26th deadline is really critical because we need to get all the voting members registered by that date so that we can create voting credentials for them. So any voting members that register after May 26th, which means, yes, you might be able to register by calling somebody or whatever, they're not going to be able to vote. So they won't be able to do their job. So it's really, really important that we get them registered before May 26th. So, and in case you didn't know, registration for in-person participants includes their lunch. So I don't know if that's a selling point, but yeah, we need to provide numbers for the hotel as well to know, so that they know how many people to have meals for. And people can still register or reserve, book a hotel room if they're coming in person. For a little while there, the link that we had on the annual conference webpage showed that there was no more rooms available and people would have to call the hotel. That issue has been resolved. So now that link will allow you to register or to book hotel rooms. It's a link that takes you directly to the hotel website. So I'm going to share my screen real quick. And I'm on the wrong page right now, but here we go. Okay, so if your lay members annual conference or clergy has not registered yet, pretty much all registration links, information about annual conference, maybe the pre-conference briefing registration, anything they're wondering about annual conference, it's going to be here on this page, dscumc.org/AC. But like I said before, or started to mention, if you're ever looking for something about an event that's coming up, if you click on that calendar link way up here on top, you can find the things that are already set. They're on the calendar. If you're looking for next year's annual conference dates, for example, you could go to the June 23rd month and find that information. No, I'm not lying. I promise. I just saw it there this morning. Maybe something happened. I just saw it there this morning. But okay, let's go back to this year because I did want to show you something. Okay, so for this year, some of the events that are coming up, the Arizona 5-Day Academy registration deadline is May 10th, and their event is actually in September. And you can see the Questioning the Death Penalty 5-week webinar series. You could go to any of the 5 weeks where it's happening to find out information about it. But first, I'm going to tell you about the Arizona 5-day Academy event on September 18th through the 23rd. It's called A Journey into the Heart of Christ. And the reason why I want to show this to you, I'm going to share this webpage link with you, but really any information about that event is available. Here it is at dscumc.org/Arizona 5-day Academy. That's the registration deadline, August 15th. I got to check and see what's going on our calendar. Something's not quite right. So I want to show you at the bottom, this is the part that's important for you, to share information about this retreat that's going on. They've got the event flyer, short research impact sheet that you can use for your newsletter. There's several different little bulletin blurbs that you can choose from if you want to put something every week until the registration deadline. So that's at the bottom of this article, Journey into the Heart of Christ, Spiritual Healing and Justice. It'll be right there at the bottom. Okay, now the prison reform event. So if I went to dscumc.org/prison reform, you can watch the first 2 sessions, which are linked here. But what I want to draw your attention to right now is about downloading the fact sheet, because you as the communicator might want to do that to take a look at information that you might want to glean to share publicity about this event, about the guest speaker, Helen Prigine. She's going to be joining the event live on May 19th. And so people could register, even though it's already started, they could register, attend this week's event at 6:30 on Thursday. And then next week would be when Sister Prigine is there. And if you scroll down a little bit on this fact sheet about prison reform and questioning the death penalty, you'll see there's information about some prayer vigils. One of them is tonight, and then the other one is tomorrow. The link here, I think this is the one that goes to a Facebook page. This one might as well. And you can, participate virtually or plan to attend in person, but that's a little bit more, details about those 2 events. And like I said, where to go to find information about upcoming events. Click on this calendar and you'll see the conference calendar and find out more information. Okay, so we did those. I might be jumping up ahead, but let me close this one too. That's the journey. So the Desert Southwest Conference office, we are hiring, and we've posted the job here on our classifieds, which is also available right here if you click on this link. We are looking for a communications assistant editor. So if you know someone that could be a good fit, you just click on that link, and I'll include the link to this job post. It describes what's going to happen with this job, what we're looking for, preferred experience, but it's not required. Here's the minimum experience, and yeah, I'd be happy to talk to anybody that's interested in this position. Okay, you know what? I'm going really fast. I just realized I didn't ask anyone if anyone has any questions about what I've gone over so far. No, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, let me go back to my list. So we talked about registration, AZ 5D Academy, prison reform webinar, and where to go to find more event news. The we're hiring piece. Oh, the website menu. Okay, so I'm going to share my page again. I think this is the one. There it is. Okay, so what I wanted to show you, can you see this okay? All right, so this is, it's not anything that's live on the website. This is a very draft mock-up of what a secondary menu might look like on the new website design for dscumc.org. The idea that we're thinking of is to create one menu system that has all of our links, the committees and all that, but then have a separate menu system where it's driven, the content is driven by the audience. And so I just wanted some feedback from you guys if you think, especially this members section. So the members section, we've talked about maybe it would be called churches. Maybe it would be called laity. Stuff in this menu item would be specific to leadership at your church. It could be things that you as staff maybe are looking for. It could be, I don't know, maybe there's a training that's coming up that somebody in the pews might be interested in attending. So one of the questions is, are these titles, are they specific enough? Do you think that that would make sense to people of who should go here? What might I find there? Or should it be something different? And then besides that, if you have any thoughts on the content in the menu items, I'm trying to show everything. Okay, so the bottom part for both the clergy and the members is get involved. I'm gonna do that, so maybe we can see most of it. So if you can think of something else that maybe should go in these menu items, that would be great feedback. Yay, I see 2 people have raised their hands. Just feel free to unmute. Sherry, go ahead. And then Chris after.
I wanted to make sure that it's not UMW or UMM anymore, to change that to United Women in Faith. And I can't remember what the men's is called, just an FYI.
Thank you. And we'll make a note of that. And Chris.
Is there a way to indicate that it's like information for clergy, information for members, information for families? Because like if I see it right now, I'm thinking clergy. I want to learn about like who is on staff or who clergy is, like, is that how I get to the bishop's bio, something like that? So I don't know if there's a way to indicate that it's information for those different groups. And then I would caution against using laity, just because that's one of those insider phrases or words. That's all.
Sorry, I didn't mean to stop sharing or talk while I was muted. David, it looks like you've got your hand up.
Yeah. So while laity is an inside baseball thing, members isn't always correct either, because not everybody's a member of the church. So there might need to be a little prompt, a little kind of explanation under each one. You can come up with a big thing, but and the 4, I like the idea of the info for clergy, info for members, info for family. So somehow making that, I know you don't want to have big long titles for these sections, but so it's a balancing thing.
Yeah, thanks. So try this on for size. I was just thinking this morning about it because we were talking about, well, maybe instead of members, it should be churches, because a lot of those links are church information. But I just felt like, first I was very comfortable with that idea. I thought, oh yeah, anybody at the church, could be staff, it could be a member, it could be a frequent visitor, anybody at churches. But then the more I thought about it, the more I realized I totally agree with you, Chris and David, about members and laity. It is insider language. And actually that section is for insiders. It's not meant for the new people, the people that don't know what laity means. Any of our church members, church staff, the people that are supposed to be going here know what laity means. So maybe it wouldn't be so bad to be laity instead of members or churches. Go ahead, David.
So you're what you just brought up about churches. So it's really churches and their members, right? Churches and the people at the churches. So that makes that titling, that 3rd column, harder. But it would be good to try to include the idea that, yeah, this is focused on the local church. That's what this stuff is for. Good luck with this. It's not going to be easy. It's so hard to come up with this kind of thing and get it just right the way you want it.
Yeah, well, this page, it's very much draft, by the way. It's not at all in the right order. The items in there are not in the right order either. I'm wondering what else would you communicators, there's certain seasons where you're looking for those church forms. Are there certain seasons where you're going to the conference website looking for some other resource that's not listed here, or training, or I don't know what else, event maybe? So if you wouldn't mind, think about that for a little bit, digest that, come back to this recording to look at this page again. I'll send you the link in the follow-up. And then email me with your thoughts if you have any, like, oh my gosh, don't forget to include blah, blah, blah. That's a major thing. So final thing I want to say about this is it is a secondary menu. It's not meant to have everything in the world. It's just supposed to have some of the more popular items. And we can get that information from Google Analytics, but seasonal things aren't going to show up as well as things like staff. That happens all year. People are wanting to find out who's the staff, but something like worship resources that we only offer once in a while and not even for sure every single year on a certain month isn't going to pop up, but that might be something that, oh, that's really important. That should be in the secondary menu. So I'd love to get your email feedback on that. Go ahead, Sherry.
Sorry, I thought you were done. When I look at this under members, the first thing is grow your congregation. I think from my perspective, I think that's confusing, because wouldn't clergy grow the congregation? How are the members going to grow the congregation? That was just one thought I had. But then if you go further down in that list, you've got congregational development again. So you've got it at the top and then down under UMM. So I don't know if there's some clarification with that. If I were a member of a United Methodist Church and then looking at that, maybe there's a way to be able to look at that if you're an admin council, if you're part of admin council, or you're part of a church from that aspect and you want to, I don't know. That's what I saw when I first looked at it anyway. Maybe I'm way off, but it just struck me as a little confusing, but maybe it's just me.
No, that's really good feedback. On the one hand, as someone that worked on that sort of thing at my church for a while, and I've never been clergy, that I'm aware that anyone at your church can be a part of growing your congregation and spreading information about your church, passing out postcards about Easter invitations maybe, or whatever. But maybe that's more, that language makes more sense in the clergy menu and something different for the laity or churches menu. So that's great feedback too. Thank you.
You could say congregational development for non-clergy. Because admin councils, I think, struggle with some of that kind of stuff and looking at what they can do. They do that as they're looking at, or ours does anyway, looking at your committees and how can we help develop this. So to your point, I don't know that they would go to the clergy column if they were thinking about that, but that might be something that would be an area that they could click on and look at ways that their committees could be involved in doing that. It's kind of like management for non-management.
Thanks. That's awesome. Okay, so take a look at that stuff. Send me your emails, your feedback later. The last thing I want to share with you is, it seems like it's a little bit of a rerun from last week, but it's not, I promise. Let me share this page. So last week I showed you this page about From Religion and Race for AAPI month. And what I found out is, in addition to the 2 infographics that Religion and Race has, if you scroll way down here, way at the bottom right, you can see the icons for their social media. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And what they've promised is that they're going to be sharing resources on social media as well. So here I am on the facebook.com/GCORRUMC page. And you can see that they have some stuff that has nothing to do with AAPI, but they do have some other items, and some, even if it's just sharing their infographic again, you could use some of their language or just share what they've posted. Here's their Instagram, so you can see they shared it here. Maybe this will help give you some ideas on what to share or repost what they have. So I just wanted to bring your attention to those. And then perhaps your church and society team might be interested in checking out the YouTube channel for Religion and Race. There could be some small group sessions that you could host by sharing some of these videos that they've got. And but I don't know how else they might use it, but I definitely wanted to make sure that you were aware that there's a lot of great resources, even on the social media channels, for our general church agencies. Hope I said that right. And here's their Twitter. Here's the infographic as well. Is it the infographic? I don't know. Let's see. No, it's just a little piece of it, I guess. So there you go. It's something that you can retweet. And so keep that in mind. I will share the links to those. Oh, this is something from UMC Justice. I was going to share this in case you're looking for something to use as like invitational or informational about the Thursday webinar series from Prison Reform. Like, here's something you can use. Because sometimes it is kind of difficult. People wonder, like, why is your church involved in this? How is this helping me become a disciple? So this kind of helps explain why the United Methodist Church is deeply concerned with prison reform. So it's quoting from our social principles. And of course, if you're ever looking for images to use in your newsletters or your email campaigns or for social media, don't forget that we also have a lot of great Flickr channels from our general church agencies where you can use their photos for your social media stuff or whatever you're working on. So that's all I wanted to share about that. I will share links to those that I showed in this video. Questions or comments? Nothing? Okay, it's 10:24 and we got through another week of Tuesday Talks. Don't forget to send your emails with questions, suggestions, whatever, because that's how this content comes about. Thank you all for joining me. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you next week.